Hello everyone! Today I'm trying to solve another puzzle cube in my new game, Glow Cubes, which you can check out on Steam at the link below. Last time, I solved the small but wacky space cube, which unlocked its larger cousin, the Einstein Cube. The Einstein Cube is like the classic twisty puzzle, but with one major difference. Instead of all rotations acting about the center of the cube, you select a cubie as the center of rotation, and all other cubies in the same plane rotate in unison, held together by spooky action at a distance. I must say, the scrambled state looks intimidating, but don't fret. If you believe in yourself, you can solve anything. On the bright side, the central slice only needed a couple moves to be completed. After that, the plan is to assemble strips of 3 cubies each, then arrange them into 3x3 slices, and finally bring the slices together to form the solved cube. Overall, this is a very different experience from solving the standard Rubik's Cube. A Rubik's Cube is typically done layer by layer, using memorized algorithms to solve the top layer. The Einstein Cube, however, lends itself to intuitive problem solving from start to finish, which I find more satisfying. Plus, using logic to rein in a scattered mess and see it gradually come together into an organized cube tickles the most autistic parts of my brain, and that's the type of joy I hope to bring to you guys with Glow Cubes. I actually started working on this game a long time ago, and my severe ADHD and executive dysfunction made it take a lot longer than it should have. Also, I kept adding features and Easter eggs and getting overly perfectionistic, and after it had been so long, it got to a point that nothing I had seemed like it could ever be good enough to publish, so I kinda psyched myself out. One thing that made me finally bite the bullet and publish was the rapid expansion of generative AI. I take pride in my art and programming and such, even down to fine minutiae that most people probably won't even notice, and I wanted to put my work out there before it gets to a point that everyone assumes everything is made by AI. Although, as Tristan explains in the excellent video Is the AI Apocalypse Inevitable, we don't necessarily have to accept the takeover of AI. I'll link that video below, so definitely give it a watch. A few times in this playthrough, I had trouble with the cursor clicking on things through the twist control square. I fixed this later by deleting an unnecessary layer mask. At this point I noticed a problem. The central slice of 8 cubies has remained solved the entire time. Yet I found a position in which the glow effect and the solved cubie counter focus on the nearby group of 6 aligned cubies instead. So the wrong cubies glow and the counter reads 6 instead of 8. I stopped saving my cube state after this, so I could revisit this position later for debugging. We'll come back to this after the solve. I actually waited until I had my demo videos edited and ready to go before going public with my game, because I know how much I struggle to do anything on a schedule. Yet I was really delayed in posting this video anyway, because when I looked at it again, my editing was really rough compared to what I learned to do while editing later videos, and I had to go back and redo most of it. A lot of that is because, when I was solving, I wasn't thinking about editing later, and the way I rotated the cube between moves made it really hard to cut out uneventful parts where I'm just thinking or looking around the cube, so I could stitch the moves together into a quick, seamless video. That's also why I had to use so many crossfades. Plus, I spent a lot of time editing and recording multiple long versions of this script before I realized the video flowed better at 3 times speed and scrapped almost all of it. So I appreciate your patience, and I'm glad you've stuck with me this long in the video. By the way, I found a really cool video that's relevant to small games like mine. It's called The Games We Forget by the Cursed Judge. The whole video is interesting, but one part in particular stuck with me. He said that when you play a small, unknown, or forgotten game, you can't share it with your friends the same way as a major title. Instead, you get a more intimate experience, a silent conversation between you and the ghost of the creator's passion. For me, it feels like a welcome respite from the hectic buzz of pop culture, to slow down and appreciate the vision of one passionate developer. That's something to keep in mind when Glow Cubes drops. Unless this game totally blows up, of course, in which case, community is what you really want in a game. There you have it, the very first solve of the Einstein Cube. Okay, now it's time to address that glitch with the program misidentifying the largest cluster of aligned cubies. I can recreate the bug from the last cube state I saved. As a reminder, the inner slice of 8 cubies is solved, so they should glow and the solved cubie counter on the laptop should read 8. Yet here, the nearby group of 6 hogs all the glory. Thankfully, I found the oversight in my code causing this, as well as another mistake that didn't even affect this solve. Now it works as intended, as I will now demonstrate. I'll just maneuver back to the troubled position, and you'll see that the program still correctly identifies the largest solved part of the puzzle. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and please don't forget to check out Glow Cubes on Steam at the link below.